Good morning, afternoon, or even evening, everyone watching this 16th already Business Central ISV podcast. Thank you for joining. I'm not alone in this podcast. My name is Ingmar Boon. I'm together here with Kurt and Anton. Thank you very much both for joining. And before giving the word to Anton, because he will have the largest introduction, I think, talking about himself, but also about his company, Cegeka. I want to give a quick intro to Kurt. Kurt, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Ingmar, for having me again. Really great to be on.
Thank you for joining.
On the show again, and super excited about the guest that you brought today. So for those who don't know me, my name is Kurt. I'm part of the Business Central team. Really focused quite a bit on working with partners, focusing on partner capacity challenges. But I have been working with ISVs for I guess almost a decade, and super excited about this community. So really look forward to the discussion with Anton.
Well, I hope it's not going to be really like a discussion, really like a conversation, but learning about everything that you're doing. Anton started, I think, already a long time ago, but you're an old-timer, between brackets, of course. I mean, we just talked before this call about DSA, but I'll give the words or the floor to you, Anton, please. Who is Anton Vreugdenhil and who is Cegeka?
Okay, thank you, Ingmar, and I'm really excited to join this podcast with you and Kurt. I'm working for years already. First of all, let me start with a short personal introduction. My name is Anton Vreugdenhil. At the moment, I'm the CEO of Cegeka, which is a SaaS company in the PropTech industry. As you already mentioned, old timer, but I still feel young, by the way. But I started 25 years ago in the IT sector, and more than 10 years ago in also the NAV Business Central arena. At the beginning of my career, 2000 till 2006, I was CEO and co-owner of an IT service and software company. And indeed, we took over DSA, a NAV partner at that time. In 2006, we merged with Cegeka, maybe familiar for the listeners, but it's a Belgian IT service company with whom I completed a wonderful growth journey. In 2023, I was up till 2023. I was responsible for the Netherlands, and later on CEO of Cegeka Business Solutions, which is a European Dynamics SI. And part of this business, an ISV solution for the real estate market, was carved out and sold to a private equity company called Main Capital. And I joined this initiative and became CEO of Cegeka. So now for almost 2 years, I'm CEO of Cegeka. And I really enjoy working with ambitious teams to create innovative solutions that are highly valued by customers. And in my private life, that takes place in the Netherlands. I live in a small village nearby Utrecht in the center of the Netherlands. And in my spare time, I love doing sports. So that's a little bit about myself.
Maybe one correction, Anton, when I said old-timer, I meant you're already a long time in the business. I'm also an old-timer, just like Kurt. I didn't mean anything about your age specifically.
Thank you. That's a compliment.
You know the business.
Experience.
Yeah, indeed. So thanks again, Anton, for joining this podcast. And of course, Kurt, great to have you here as well. You've touched a little bit about what Cegeka does today, Anton. But can you go a little bit deeper maybe on because you have a very specific vertical, which is, I think, very much aligned with the Business Central or the Microsoft strategy of going vertical. I remember when Kurt and I were both working for, was it MBS or MBS Navision, we were already proclaiming to partners, go vertical, go vertical, go vertical. And you are the perfect example of creating a very vertical business, a very successful business. So can you talk a bit, or can you just explain what your business is doing and the success of that niche?
You already mentioned it. It was in that time, I think it was around 2000. 5 that indeed there was a will urge for partners to more verticalize, and I agreed on that because and that was one of our main strategic decisions at that time, that we said, okay, how can we distinguish ourselves towards customers? So let's collaborate with Microsoft and make a real strategic decision to focus 100% on an industry. I thoroughly believe that if you want to make highly valued solutions towards customers, that you really have to understand the business of your customer as much as your customers does. So, and that's what we did. So, yeah, Cegeka is a company who is 100% focused on the PropTech or real estate business. When we mean real estate business, it's all about residential housing. So what we do, we make solutions for our customers who run big residential property portfolios, beginning at 1,000 houses up till 100,000 houses in the Netherlands and also now in Germany. We offer a complete portfolio from end to end for all their operational processes. Then you have to think about matching the tenant candidates up till contracting and renting the houses, the whole maintenance process of ordering up till the administration. So complete portfolio of 6 products, of which Business Central is the core, and that is then the ERP. So where all the back office processes are included. So that is a little bit about Cegeka. And when we look at our market, we are market leader in the Netherlands, and we have a presence now in Germany. When we zoom into the real estate market in the Netherlands, we have 8 million of houses in the Netherlands, of which 3.5 million are rental units. So that is our addressable market. And in Germany, you have around 43 million of houses, of which 20 million are rental. So that's a 6 times bigger market than the Netherlands, and that is also where our growth is in the future.
Is there a lot of things changing from a compliance and from a regulation perspective in that industry? Like, do you have to focus quite a bit in the solution on changes on that end?
Yeah, if you want to make a solution for this industry, you indeed have to include all kind of local compliance regulations which the market has. Especially in the social or affordable housing, as we call it, and from matching the right rental candidate up till how the housing price is calculated, is a lot of local legislation included. That's correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I've heard already several things, Anton. I'm like, I want to go deeper in that one or that one, but maybe Kurt, you have another question or another.
Yeah, I mean, I was the second part of the question is, of course, like you need to focus quite a bit on making sure that the solution is fit from a niche perspective, from an industry perspective. But you also did a very impressive, journey from an on-prem product to the cloud, right? Do you want to talk a little bit more about that? Like, I think that we've been working together for this for now. What is it, like approximately 5 years?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it started in 2018 when we got into the program with Microsoft to move NAV to Business Central. And we had around 75 customers on-prem. And we made a huge transformation from local NAV towards Business Central Online, which was incredible program. There were lots of customization which needs to change towards a complete standard Business Central product. So we standardized the products. We moved from on-prem to cloud. The whole architecture was therefore changed in order to move to the cloud. But not only the transition of NAV towards Business Central is important, but also the whole application landscape actually of our customers, because our ERP is connected with all kind of other applications, which also needed to be upgraded and migrated to be able to connect with the Business Central APIs. So that was a huge operation. It was not only focusing on our own application, but also changing the whole landscape and also changing your own organization, as the whole way of working also need to change if you want to become a SaaS company. So there we work together closely. I would like to mention here also the great way in which you and Microsoft helped us in order to do so. Otherwise, we would not be able to have achieved this result. Good.
Well, very welcome. It was an absolute pleasure.
Great to hear. I'm always curious, Anton, because you mentioned that it's not only a technical upgrades or change, it's also a cultural change. Can you elaborate a bit on the changes that happened within your organization, maybe from a development perspective, from a compensation perspective, what your customers are expecting? Maybe that has also an impact on your organization in a SaaS world. So I'm very curious on the change happening inside Cegeka.
Yeah, it's both. It's a cultural change in your organization, and it's also the way you work together with your customers, and how that affects the whole new solution online, how that reacts, how customers react on that. But let's first start with the cultural changes. And we call our culture we call it together the Six way, and there are actually three main values within our culture, and that is first of all together. The second is innovation, and the third one is sparkling. And
what is?
The third one is sparkling.
Okay, sparkling. Okay.
Yeah, and let me elaborate a little bit about those values. First of all, together. That is, and it seems like an open door, but it's so important. So it's all about teamwork, together with Microsoft, together with the teams here, but also together with your customer. As we constantly innovate our products together with our customers by means of co-creation. So everything we do is based on that value, working together. But it's even deeper. It's also about exchanging ideas, exchanging knowledge. So the fundament of our company is based on this value together, which is included in our cultural manifest. We have a cultural manifest, and where we elaborate on this, and so that everyone understands. If you want to join Cegeka, then you really have to be a team player. So that is one of our main fundamentals. Then innovation. We are a forerunner and not a follower. Yeah. So, and that's also what we liked with the program we did with Microsoft, moving towards the cloud. It was an enormous challenge. We dare to be entrepreneurial. We dare to make new decisions. Say, okay, let's move towards the cloud. We made that decision pretty early, and that was a very big and very important decision. Otherwise, we would not be here anymore. That was a real strategic decision. So innovation is in our DNA. That's we all and now we're already working on of course the AI initiatives, which we can later discuss. And then the third one is sparkling. That's a mentality thing. We like positive mindsets. Yes, we can mentality, and so we look always for people joining Cegeka
Can do.
are positive.
It aligns a bit with what we in Microfoot call, I think, the growth mindset. You might fall, but you have to get up again and
exactly. Yeah,
move forward.
And sparkle, so that you have a positive. At the end of the day, you still have a lot of positive energy to move on. And so that these are the three main values of Cegeka. Which also helped us in the whole transformation of becoming a real SaaS or online company, and also are currently helping us in moving even further, because the next wave of AI is coming, or is already there. So now we really believe that this is the basis of the company.
Go ahead, Kurt.
Yeah, I wanted to zoom in a little bit on, I want to maybe elaborate a little bit on the innovation opportunities that you see. Like, how do you think of, where Cegeka solution, maybe your industry is going to be in, let's say, 10 years from now, knowing that AI is coming to up? Like, can you talk a little bit more about where you see the opportunity going? Maybe not only from a technology perspective, but also from an industry perspective.
Yeah, actually, we there have three attention points. We call it the Trinity of Innovation. It's all about data, AI, and collaboration. And first of all, let me dive into the data, because that, I think, is a really important topic to address. We call it one source, one truth. And of course, for the ERP perspective, that makes sense. But what we see in our industry, in the real estate industry, is that there are lots of sources, and there are lots of applications with their own database, where all kind of data are stored. And the industry faces a challenge, which we call in the IT master data management. So who is the master of which data? So what we are currently working on is on clear conventions and on an architecture that we have clarity about which database is the master for which data. And there we see also a tremendous development in the real estate market of digital twins, where all kind of new innovations like drones and other technologies are helping us in order to visualize the real estate properties, from square meters till floor plans till energy labels, all kind of data you need for managing that business are currently collected in a different way, much modern way or a more innovative way. But then, of course, you want to use these data, and then you need to understand if these data are correct and who's the master of these data, and how you manage these data going forward. Mm-hmm. So that's a big topic. Really interesting. We are working together with a partner. We just launched a strategic partnership with Barder, who is really specialist in this arena on this topic. And it's amazing what you can do already with those digital twins.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so that's the first major innovation in this market. And the other one is, of course, AI. We see, of course, Copilot as your personal assistant, Now we work together, Koert, also on the program of finding new use cases in order to use Copilot for the users. There are several from issue categorization and prioritization, which can be done by Copilot if a tenant wants to has an issue in his house. From resource allocation that the constructor will fix is planned and is scheduled. Up till real-time communication with the tenant via chatbot, etc., etc. So there's several use cases we're currently working on, for which we build AI agents in order to become much more efficient and run these processes more automatically.
You said something, Anton, and brings me to a side question. You are digitizing the real estate market, all its different angles. But for the tenant, him or herself, is there also an app to say like, hey, my toilet is blocked, tuk, 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 and 5 minutes later they get a call or like, hey, we'll be there in half an hour? Does it exist?
Absolutely, yeah. And that brings me also to the third one, case management. Yeah, we have a tenant app, as we call it, where the tenant in this app has the 5 main issues: ending the contract, making a different payment scheduling or agreement, an issue in his house, a defect. So there are 5 main requests the tenant can use his tenant app for. And what we are currently working on is that these tasks, the tenant app handles, is handled really efficient by means of case management. And therefore, that's the third innovation we are currently working on implementing Microsoft Dynamics Customer Service and Contact Center. You can imagine that our customers have pretty big customer contact centers that we also use their Microsoft Dynamics for and integrate that with Business Central. Where of course Copilot is completely integrated, and that the whole communication with the tenant is also done by the AI agents.
Does it go as far, Anton, that let's say I'm a tenant of a certain residential apartments, my toilet is not flushing, or is there something blocked with my toilet? I create a case. It's automatically routed to a plumber who's like, hey, this is high alert. You have to be there in half an hour or an hour, not like in next week, because it's really, the toilet is blocked. Is that something that is live today?
Yeah, that's live. Yeah, and these days we have a decision tree included. But now the AI agent is taking over that decision tree. Which makes it much more efficient for the user. He or she doesn't have to think about who needs to be scheduled then, the plumber or whatever. But that it's done automatically, and it also fits into the agenda so that the scheduling is also done automatically, and that is already in place. But AI is making it much more efficient and accurate. So that is what we're working currently on that whole use case. That all events actually where the tenant has its tenant app for, all the workflows behind it are handled automatically.
Amazing.
Yeah. What are typically the benefits that customers perceive when implementing a Zig solution? Like, what are like the top 3 things that they always win with when they implement your software?
More accurate data.
Mhm.
So the reliability of the data increases. That's very important because you can imagine it. The decision making of real estate companies. It's about a lot of money. So it's not labor intensive, but it's really capital intensive, the real estate market. So the reliability of data is very important. So that's a huge benefit. And of course, the workflows are handled much more efficient than in these old systems. And of course, also the scalability of the platform going forward, and the continuous innovation of the platform.
My attached question to that, Anton. So you said we rather be at the forefront of innovation than in the back. You said that like five minutes ago or 10 minutes ago. And like, hey, this is a mindset, a part of your culture. I also believe that creates like risk, but manageable risk. But then if I look at the different aspects, I can imagine, now I don't know the real estate market, but the real estate market, is it very innovative or not? Innovation is just thrown at you from Microsoft and other players. So how do you decide, like, hey, this is the innovation we're going to bring, and we're going to make sure that it's going to be successful from a monetary perspective? So how do you create that balance between like, hey, this is where we're going to innovate, this is going to make money, and this is where we're not going to innovate? I think it's super difficult as a decision maker, as a leader of a company like yours, to get like to make that decision. Those decisions.
Oh, that's a very good topic and question, Ingmar. Over the years, we have gathered a lot of insights of this market. So we know the market for 100%. We know all customers, all prospects. We know which system they run on, when the contract ends, etc. So we have very accurate market insights. So we can really make good business cases if we make an investment decision. If we change product or replace a product, or of course, as every software company does, in the decision making, you make a business case. How profitable is this innovation? But as we have a very good insight of the market, and we are also a market leader, we have the skill and we have the knowledge and the insights to make a good, solid business case. So that's first of all, and that makes the decision making. That improves the decision making significantly. So that's an advantage of being in such a specific vertical.
Mm-hmm.
Disadvantage is, of course, always the boundaries of such a market vertical. And that's also why we are currently internationalizing. We are market leader. Almost 50% of the total market runs on our products. But finally, the market stops, and how can you grow into the future? And that's always the disadvantage of being a vertical player. Your market is limited, and that also limits your investments in innovation, of course. And that's so skill really matters. I think that's also what we see in our industry. Also, the software vendors in this industry, from a global perspective, we see a huge consolidation which is going on, and that is mainly caused, of course, that every country has its limits in this specific market, and all the new developments like digital twin. There are no local boundaries in order to do that you can do that on an international scale. So that's why we also see a huge consolidation on the global level in this market.
Sorry, Kurt, I see you want to ask a question. Please go ahead.
Yeah, a question. I mean, it's when you say like that you almost have 50% of the market in the Netherlands, that's just there's not a lot of partners that have almost 50% of the market. That's super, super cool. As you said as well, that basically forces you to go to other countries like Germany. What are some of the first lessons learned of like what are some of the positives and the negatives when trying to enter a new market like Germany?
Yeah, that Europe is really divided in actually even the Netherlands and also in Germany you have national legislation, but you have also regional legislation. That really makes it difficult. And in Europe, we are front runners on regulation, and that we from an IT perspective that makes it difficult. And that is what you have to be aware of. And not every product can be easily exported to another country. Although it can be a perfect product, is it suitable for that market? And that is we have to be aware of. When you zoom out a little bit, residential real estate. To manage a residential real estate portfolio, so the whole renting administration and the maintenance of the properties is actually basically all the same. It's not that complex process. But from a legislation, both on a national and regional perspective, it makes it very complex. That there you really have to think in your strategy. Okay, what works? And which products can we export and which not?
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, I assume, of course, regional is maybe playing against you, like Germany, 85 million inhabitants. The market is just huge. France, huge. UK, huge. While Netherlands is smaller-ish.
Yeah.
So is there for you like an opportunity of like going like, hey, we need to go in many more countries because 80% will always be the same, and that 20%, okay, that's what we need to make local. So is that a strategy that Cegeka is pursuing, that you are pursuing, Anton?
Absolutely. Like, well, that's also why we carved out this business from Cegeka and sold it to Main. Main was really focusing and is successful in helping customers grow their business internationally. So go beyond the boundaries of the Netherlands, and so that is what the success of Main is, and so they are really helping us in entering Germany and the Nordics and other European countries. Even after that, Germany has our first priority. As you mentioned, it's 6 bigger from a property management perspective, but it's also Germany leads a lot, is behind the Netherlands when we look at IT. So we really are also forerunners in the Netherlands with our software. So we see a huge opportunity in Germany to really make a difference there.
Wow. So you mentioned the challenges of scaling. That brings me also a bit to the last question, Anton. The question that I ask for every invited partner. If you could, or if you would be at the helm of Microsoft Business Solutions or Microsoft Dynamics Business Central, you could like change one thing or ask one thing that would impact your business positively, potentially also other ISV businesses. What would be that one ask, or maybe two asks, that you say like, hey, this would really be positive for my business in the long run, or short term, long term?
Yeah, we have actually two suggestions, and first of all, that's a topic which we addressed earlier to Microsoft, and that's the integration between Business Central and Fabric, which is not there yet. So that would really help us. We have a BI solution for the real estate business. So a off-the-shelf integration from Microsoft Business Central to Fabric, that would really help. And the other one, and that's also of vital importance for our customer satisfaction, but also for ourselves in be more productive and efficient, is the stability of the major releases of Business Central. Topic which we also mentioned a couple of times with Microsoft to work on this together, and that would be really helpful for us, Ingmar.
Okay.
Those two.
Well, thank you for that feedback, Anton. We're at the end of our protocol. Time flies, especially for me when you're having fun, and I really enjoyed this conversation, Anton. I learned a lot about Business Central business, but also about your specific niche, how you approach that business. Thank you very much for joining. I hope this will not be the last podcast ever, Anton, that we will have together with Kurt. Kurt, maybe some last words regarding Cegeka and the podcast.
Really enjoyed the conversation as well. I'm actually a big fan of Anton and the team. They've got amazing people in there. They've done amazing stuff in the industry, as we just uncovered. Owning 50% of the market is, understanding that magic recipe is really interesting, and super passionate about that as well. So
the world has to become Cegeka. Was it Steve Ballmer that said, like, the world has to become Danish? Just after the acquisition of Dynamics, the world, or the partner world, has to become Cegeka. 50% market share.
Absolutely.
Thanks for that, Ingmar. And thank you for inviting me and sharing our experience. And we really like to collaborate in the ecosystem with other partners. Also, good to mention that we've learned a lot also from other partners in joining the Microsoft programs. It's a positive, it's a sparkling ecosystem. That's can be proud of that. That's we really like it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Anton. Thank you very much, Kurt, and talk soon. Bye bye.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.